Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Another massive commitment for Lincoln Riley, the USC Trojans, coming out of the transfer portal as former Syracuse Center J'Onre Reed committing to USC. This to me is just what the doctor ordered at the center position for this USC program. Where, look, losing Jonah, that's a very hard center to replace. Not only was Jonah a really good offensive lineman for USC, you could kind of get the sense that he was the glue of the offensive line in 2024 as well. That's the same vibe I get from Jori Reid as well. And he's a 2-year starter at Syracuse, has started every single game since the 2023 season. Not only do I love the physical traits this kid brings to the table, I love what's between the ears. It doesn't take you very long from watching a little film on this kid that he's got such command of that center position. It's not only really solid in pass protection, very good anchor, very light on his feet. I think the thing that stands out to me the most is some of the extracurriculars he does. He's very comfortable picking up delayed blitzes. He's very comfortable picking up linebackers. He's very comfortable dealing with the games and stunts that he sees on the offensive line as well. So not only just a proven commodity on the offensive line, but I also think, between the ears, exactly what USC was looking for. You got to give some credit to Zach Hanson. It's been a short tenure for him as the offensive line coach, but DJ Wingfield and now J'Onre Reed, those are two proven commodities at the power four level coming in for this USC offensive line. That's always hard to do. And I know you had Emmanuel Pregnon transfer out, quite frankly. I don't think we can put that on Zach Hanson. The early returns in terms of what Zach Hanson's doing on the recruiting trail, I think you have to feel pretty good about. Now, I want to get into a little bit of the film of J'Onre Reed because this is a center that's very fun to watch play. Now, before we get into it, as always, to the USC fans, it's been a blast. It's been a busy last couple of weeks for this USC program. Y'all know I have a blast talking this team. The amount of support y'all continue to show to the fellas, it means the world. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, kind of my notes on J'Onre Reed, it starts with really, really athletic kid. At 6'3", 315 pounds, he's kind of built like a fire hydrant, and he has a really good anchor. And because he's a little bit shorter, that pad level's low, and he doesn't really get pushed around all that often in pass protection. How light he is on his feet is what stands out to me. This is a guy that is a really good athlete for the size. I think secondly, he's really good in a phone booth. And by that is when he gets hands on an opposing defensive lineman, they're not getting off his blocks. And that's something important, especially when you're talking about interior offensive linemen where, look, you're not playing out in space. You're getting in the phone booth. You're putting hands on defensive linemen. We need offensive linemen who are very good at the point of attack. J'Onre Reed checks that box. Now, I think lastly, he can road grade a little bit. Now, he wasn't asked to road grade all that often at Syracuse, one, because they didn't run the football all that much. And then secondly, a lot of their run game is kind of based on RPO. And so he can't really move bodies down the field because he's going to be ineligible if Kyle McCord decided to throw the football. So he wasn't really asked to do much road grading in the run game. But when he was asked to do it, I think he can do it at a pretty high level. And he's really, really good getting to the second level, which is another really important aspect when you talk about that center position. Some double teams, working up to linebackers, does that at a high level. You start getting into the film, and we'll just do it quick. Just wanted to share a few clips from when I was watching him. One, looking him at the center position, I think it first starts with just how light this kid is on his feet. The change of direction, the ability to really mirror this, and you just see how coordinated and how light on his feet he is. This is a really, really impressive rep from J'Onre Reed. Again, he just seems so comfortable changing direction and keeping his base and keeping his feet underneath his hips. That's where it starts. And then you take a look at what he does at the second level. Again, not a ton of opportunity to see him in the run game because Syracuse did not run the football all that often. But when he gets the opportunity to work up to linebackers, he does it in a big time way. And again, when he's engaged, like there's not a lot of guys getting off his blocks. And you take a look at this, he's popping a big run because he's getting to that off-ball linebacker. I think this is a really good get for USC. And we always say this, it's hard to find plug and play starting caliber guys on the offensive line in the transfer portal. I think USC's been able to do that twice with DJ Wingfield and J'Onre Reed. Now, I think J'Onre Reed probably a little bit better than DJ Wingfield, but what you like about DJ is that he brings some position versatility. And so you start kind of staking a checklist to this USC offensive line. We'll just go left to right. Elijah Page at left tackle, bona fide stud. Not enough people were talking about how good Elijah Page was at the end of 2024. That to me is an all-conference caliber tackle. You got the hardest piece of the puzzle figured out if you're Zach Hanson on the offensive line. You start working it. DJ Wingfield and Alani Noah, I mean, very well could be your starting guards. I think there's a chance DJ Wingfield competes for the right tackle spot, but you feel pretty good about your starting guards. Now you feel really good about your center and Jori Reid. And then at right tackle, you have Justin Tobias Raymond battling it out. And look, there are two offensive linemen that are still developing. You throw DJ Wingfield into that conversation, but at the end of the day, I look at Tobias Raymond or I look at a guy like Justin and say, I feel pretty good that one of them is going to be ready to go for USC in 2025. Now, I do think that USC needs to continue to build depth on the offensive line, which is hard to do in the transfer portal. Largely you want to build the depth on the high school recruiting class, which I think Zach Hanson will be doing for USC. But in terms of your starting five, I think you're sitting here, if you're a USC fan, and saying we feel pretty dang good about the starting five on the offensive line, which, again, go back, about a week and a half ago to maybe a week ago when Emmanuel Pregnon transferred out. It was kind of looking grim for lack of better terms. I mean, you felt good about Elijah Page, you felt decent about Alani Noah, but you were losing your two best guys on the inside. All of a sudden you fast forward to today and you're like, we're feeling pretty good about what the starting five offensive line is. Jori Reid, really big pickup, plug and play center on this offensive line. It sounds like USC is still doing some work in the portal. The one thing we're noticing is I think USC, I don't think they slow played it, but it was a patience aggression. And what I mean by that is, hey, we're going to be aggressive in the transfer portal, but we're not going to be reckless about it. We're going to be patient and we're going to let the chips fall and we're going to go find some good players and go grab those guys. And now you're seeing USC kind of ramp it up. We'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.